Hello everybody, how are you? I hope everyone is well. Well, today's video will be about our little boy Yuta, who is currently making waves in the Jujutsu Kaisen fandom these days. Today we will talk about the possible techniques that Gojo's strongest disciple could end up demonstrating in the future in the battle he is having against Sukuna. So, are you curious? Do you want to know what these techniques would be? So, to move forward, leave your like and subscribe to the channel. This really helps me a lot and motivates me to bring Jujutsu Kaisen content. So, if you are new to the channel and like the video, please I ask you to leave your wonderful subscription and your compartment with your other friends who love Jujutsu Kaisen, okay? There are many people who watch the channel's videos and continue watching, but they don't even leave a thumbs up and subscription. So, please, if you like my content and my work, I ask you to help me with your subscription, everything good. This way I will know that you really appreciate this content, and consequently I will bring it to the channel often. Well, with all that said, let's start with the video. Well, first off, who is Yuta Okkotsu? Yuta is nothing more than a distant relative of the sorcerer considered the strongest today. Both are relatives of Sugawara no Michizane, a great sorcerer who is considered one of the three great spirits. Yuta learned to use his cursed energy in an extremely quick and efficient way, demonstrating that he was a true prodigy, and because of this, it was revealed to us during the film Jujutsu Kaisen 0 Inches that Yuta's innate technique is to copy the techniques of others. During the film, we saw that he performed his copy without any type of limitations or problems. Therefore, he could use any technique. It was only enough that he had seen and understood its use. But currently, Yuta can only use his technique for 5 minutes, so the question is, why does it last that long? Well, this is because of Rika. When Yuta had Rika by his side, he had an immense amount of cursed energy, even being considered infinite, and because of this factor, Yuta was able to make his copies without any type of problem. But after Rika left, she just left Yuta with a Shikigami in her image. This Shikigami could store the techniques that Yuta already copied, and as Rika was considered a part of Yuta's energy, since it was he who created it, he ended up losing this immense amount of energy that he had during the Jujutsu Kaisen 0 movie. But what techniques does Yuta currently possess? Well, during the Jujutsu Kaisen 0 film, we saw him use the Inumaki technique, in this case the cursed speech, which was capable of causing serious problems for Geto. This technique was being used to its fullest potential, as Yuta possessed an immense amount of cursed energy, and because of this was able to do this technique without any further problems. Another technique that Yuta copied is the ability to manipulate the sky, an incredible and lethal ability that was used by Yuro, a shaman many decades ago. Yuta copied her during his fight against her. This ability is quite dangerous and fatal if done efficiently, as it makes Yuta manipulate the sky around him as if it were a tangible object. Yuta can distort space using this power and hit his enemies with powerful blows, such as the Thin Ice Breaker, one of Yuro's techniques, which hits the surface instead of his opponent's body and deals damage that way. In not very recent chapters, surprisingly, Yuta was also able to use the curse technique of the King of Curses. This curse technique, during the battle, we saw that Yuta used Sukuna's Klaivar. In this case, it is one of the variations of cuts which the King of Curses uses on his enemies. Yuta was seen using Klaivar on Sukuna, cutting him in the face. The fact that he copied this curse technique not only implies Yuta's immense talent, but also highlights that he can use skills like Dismantle and of course the World Severing Slash. Yuta's control over this technique may not be as great as Sukuna's manually, however, this only proves the immense capacity of Gojo's disciple's technique. Another technique utilized by Yuta is the replica of Charles's G Warstaff technique in Jujutsu Kaisen, infusing it into his katana to mark opponents with manga panels and peer into their near future. By putting blood on the tip of the katana, Yuta gains vision, starting 1 second into the future, which extends as more blood fills the weapon. This adaptation proves to be powerful and useful in combat, allowing Yuta to throw a solid punch at Sukuna in chapter 250. Yuta also successfully copied Druv's Shikigami. This ability is quite interesting and versatile, as it shows Yuta using his hair as an intermediary for the technique and summoning a bat-like Shikigami with Rika's face. He then launches the Shikigami at his opponents, and they surround them to form an orbit. This orbit forms a sort of domain within which Yuta can attack his targets. It's certainly not the strongest skill Yuta has copied. However, it is one that gives him some sort of advantage in the battles he faces. Now that I've talked about the techniques that Yuta currently has, we'll talk about the possible techniques that he could have obtained after copying Kenjaku's technique. Well, the first is anti-gravity manipulation. This is a technique that Kenjaku demonstrated in his battle against Yuki, showing that the villain can reject Yuki's black hole technique with the technique of Kaori, Yuji Itadori's mother. Kenjaku, moreover, had blood manipulation in his arsenal, as he had previously taken over the body of the former leader of the Kamo clan, Noritoshi Kamo. And of course, we couldn't forget Gedo's technique, which is the manipulation of curses. This technique is something that was constantly used by Kenjaku throughout the series, mainly due to the immense power that this technique possesses. It not only invokes curses, but this allows the user to use the techniques of these curses to their own advantage. In addition, of course, the Uzumaki technique, which has immense firepower and can finish off someone in an instant. This would make Yuta the sorcerer who has the greatest variety of techniques. In addition, he would be extremely powerful, as he would not only have the 6 eyes of Gojo, an extremely useful artifact for refining the use of cursed energy and preventing it from being wasted uselessly, but he would also use these techniques with almost no expenditure of cursed energy. In chapter 260, Gojo says that Yuta's biggest problem was the fact that he let his cursed energy empty. He had no control over it, as Yuta had an immense amount of cursed energy. Gojo says that Yuta should first take care of this, and if he did, he would have a huge evolution, and perhaps this evolution has already happened, since Yuta now has 6 eyes, something that can easily solve Yuta's problem. But anyway, what do you think? Do you think Yuta could have inherited these techniques from Kenjaku? What are your opinions? Furthermore, what do you think of the final stretch of the work? Keijaku Tami will certainly have many things to show us in the future. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and are new to the channel, I invite you to subscribe. I always try to bring the most out of myself in my videos, and especially in the content that you like so much. For those of you who are new, I welcome you to the channel, and if you really like Jujutsu Kaisen, this channel is certainly for you. Well, that was the video for today. I hope you liked it. A hug to everyone and see you later.